name's Dan Murphy. I'm joined here with Chris White. We've both played a lot of PES, and I don't know about you, Chris, but the thing that gets me excited the absolute most about PES 2017, apart from how amazing it is to play thus far, the one new groundbreaking update, new feature that's really got me going is player ID. Now this, ladies and gentlemen, player ID is where the team, for over 150 different data researchers who go to games and collect data, watch telly, collect data, all that jazz, put real life characteristics and whatnot into the players on the screen. Now I first discovered this when I was playing as Germany, and a team went through on goal at me, and I brought my keeper out, and my keeper was out on this attacker instantly, and I was like, whoa, he was out quick. And then I clocked on, it was Manuel Neuer. So I asked the PR I was playing, and I was like, does Neuer start out of his goal? Like, is he further out of his goal line because it's Neuer? And he was like, yeah, player ID, all this jazz. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. And I was then told that De Gea would be weak on his near post. So they know what they're talking about, these men. So Chris, how did you find the player ID? Because this thing's really got me. It's got me going, I must say.
I was just gutted that I couldn't see more of it. The kind of we're talking about all these different features, and it's just insane how much effort has gone into making this different than last year. And last year was incredible, but this is a completely new feature, player ID, where, as you say, they watch these players and they'll see all the ways they play, the ways they move, the way they press, and so forth. And I kind of noticed it mainly when I wasn't playing as Barca and I was playing as Atletico, and just watching kind of the way they press and the way they play towards the goal, the kind of individual players as well, and the way that
Griezmann, so jinky, so skillful.
Oh God, yeah, and like he can be anywhere, and he always looks like he's just looking for a goal, and the way he shoots is the same. And but Barca, the way kind of Messi plays in the box, he's very kind of focused, and Neymar's a lot more faster and a lot more skilled, and Suarez is kind of like the strong kind of centre forward. It's just the way that each player seems when you're not playing against them. I mean, yeah, it's just incredible, and the way they all act. And you're right about the keepers. That's one of the things I noticed with Neuer, is how alert he is and how he will press onto you, and he won't just hang about. He'll come for you and come for the ball when you're out 1-on-1. And the kind of the exciting thing is just to see all the other teams and how many of these kind of players will feel as realistic as they do when you watch them on the telly.
That is the worry, because how deep does this go? Does it go to every Premier League team? Does it go deeper? It's hard to know at this point, but at the minute, from what I've played, every player has felt distinctive, has felt realistic, felt authentic to themselves. And the ones I always draw comparisons to, so Toni Kroos, he's such a composed, elegant player, so when he gets the ball, even if his touch is slightly slack, not as sharp and not as tight as it usually is, because I don't know, you've got pressure on you, or it's just a bad pass into you, whatever the reason may be, he's still so composed that he can just quickly collect the ball, shimmy away from any marker, then ping it back off again, because he's such an elegant player. And even if most of the time his touch is pinpoint perfect, but he's just so, like I said, just so elegant and composed and classy on the ball, and it really feels like he's driving a Rolls Royce or something. It's that smooth. Then you get Paul Pogba. He's
I was about to say
big,
Pogba.
Imposing, athletic, fast, strong, but then he's also so skillful on the ball. And he's near on impossible to get off it. N'Golo Kante, oh my days, Kante was driving me insane because he's so good. He gets everywhere with the last-ditch tackles, threading passes. Never tires. It's amazing. And then probably my favourite is that Jerome Boateng pings in real life are so beautiful to watch. And so when I played PES again, I made a point to keep giving the ball to Boateng, and he could ping it 60 yards to another player's toe with pinpoint accuracy. And because I was continuously passing to this defender, it was obvious what my plan was. And then the people I was playing against were reacting to that, closing him down, and then I was conceding off it, or sometimes I was, and sometimes I had to go different. So it's the player ID. Not only does it make every player feel realistic and just makes them feel so genuine and stand out from other people, it then leads into the tactics and how you play and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, no, I can't wait to see more of the actual player ID and more of the players that they've looked into. So yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, even like I've got so many more examples. Like Giroud, he's chunky, he's big, and he's slow as anything, but he can win practically every header, and it's so good for people around him. Martial, great at cutting inside. Griezmann, as I said, jinky, can get in between players, deadly in the area. I could go on. Ozil, elegant and as anything, and can thread through balls into anyone. Schürrle, pacey, direct. I could go on forever. Tevez, an absolute bulldog. You cannot get him off the ball for love nor money. I could go on and on and on because all these players just feel so real, and it's great. And I hope that my excitement is coming through as genuine excitement for this game, not as just bloody fanboy love or whatever. But it is. I'm just so excited to get more on it. I feel the crave. I've got like the phantom triggers pulling and everything.
I don't think you'd be disappointed.
Chris, we're going to talk now about the shooting, the goal scoring, and all the good stuff in PES 2017.
Yes, man. This is one of the favourite kind of elements of it. The different kind of shooting, different kind of goals, that I've scored, and the way that any kind of opportunity could turn into a goal. Especially like one of the favourite things for me was Barca and obviously the free front men, which I took a lot of time playing with. Some of the goals that you get to score are incredible, and the kind of fluidity between the teams is also kind of detrimental, important to how it goes about. So there's a lot of good passes that could be passed into the box, and one touch with Neymar especially is incredible, and there's a lot of like smooth movements from the halfway line to the front man, and getting kind of goals off those is incredible. There's a lot of like a lot of the crosses this time round. The players seem to be a lot more on it with kind of getting to the ball and making sure a goal goes in. There's a lot more
making good runs,
and a lot more kind of reactions, and the finesse shots as well seem to be kind of. I mean, I've never been one to. I mean, I did use the finesse shots quite a few times in the last game, but I was more of a fan of just smashing it, and now this time round they kind of work from all over the place. You kind of get a good finesse shots from the edge of the box, from inside. The different players with the different kind of attributes shoot differently and kind of have the flair to kind of, like Suarez is always getting in behind the front line, and Neymar's the one making the runs, and the finishing's incredible, and it's so much kind of more fluid than before. You can make a run, you can dodge, you can duck around and all that, but your shot just seems to fit so nicely, and it looks beautiful with how these goals are getting scored as well. And yeah, it's just ace. It just feels a lot more natural this time round.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I played a few hours, and in the first build I played, goals were flowing a lot more easier. I was scoring from far out a lot easier, and it was really satisfying. You know, it's the classic, you have to work for the goals in PES. But in the second build that I played, which I presume you played the same one, was it the one with Barcelona, Boca Juniors, River Plate? Yeah, so we played the same build, and I thought the goals didn't flow as much in that build as they did in the first one, but when they arrived, they were very satisfying, and they could arrive, as they can in football, real football, in any fashion. So it can just be a jammy rebound, it can be a mistake from the goalkeeper, it can be a lovely flowing move, it can be a counter-attack when you're down to 10 men, you've just served a penalty, you go up the other end and smash it in the top corner, which is exactly what happened to me. Goals can come in various shapes and sizes, and they're so satisfying to score because you have to work for them. It's not...
Oh, definitely.
It's not just one, there's not just one like cheap way to score. It's not one long ball over the top, you go through and lob it over the keeper. It's not that. You have to work it in different fashions. You have to work with how the game's flowing. You have to be quick, concise, or be patient. It's just so true to real football, and how goals can come from anywhere, but it depends on how you play and how they come out. It can just be a lucky strike from the edge of the box. It can be something that's really well worked and you cut through the defence like butter and you slot it into the corner. There's such a wide variation of goals, and whilst the best ones are the ones that you really put effort into, it just like real football, it can just come out of nothing. And
I think people are going to be surprised at how different it feels to the last years. I mean, there was always, for me, guaranteed goals when I could see a pattern forming in the other half. Like a high through ball would always get me to my strikers, and I'd always score a goal. The amount of times I tried this, it didn't always work. So you do have to work for it, and you have to look at every single element of the pitch and everywhere all your players are. There's a lot more thought goes into getting that goal. like you said. It's a lot harder to score this time around, but I don't think that's a bad thing at all.
And it's not that it's not like it's a difficulty spike, like, oh, it's suddenly really hard to score.
No.
It's not that it feels hard to score. It's just that goals aren't flowing as much. It flows like a real game. So when I was playing, I think the highest scoring game I played was a 3-2, I want to say, and that was once. Every other game, there was no more than a 2-goal margin in it, and there was never more than 3 goals in a game, I think. So, and that's what football is. Most results are 2-1, 1-1, 2-0. That's what football is. I feel like they're nailing it so well, how just realistic it is. And I think what's also good as well is that you can't, on very rare occasions, can you do it all on one player. So even if Messi's the best player in the world, it's still very rare that he can run from the one box to the other and stick it in. He needs teammates. He needs to work with his, he needs to work in the formation that he's in. He needs to pass the ball, and it's very difficult to just run one end of the pitch to the other.
Yeah, I mean it's. One of the things I wanted to try and do is for a couple of games in the middle of my playthrough was try seeing what scoring was like on the amateur setting, just to see how different the AR and how different the scoring was. And even then, you're not scoring more than 4 or 5 goals. There's still an element of realism to it, and making sure you're in the right spot again. So it's a good all round game. Good all round, definitely with scoring and shooting and the goals that you can score.
I'm not asking a lot. It's just, I just, if I could just win the lottery or something, and I'd just live happier. And the thing is,
should have backed the GodisaGeek Patreon.